cameras. But anyways, my screen would be shared on a PowerPoint, so I can't even see if even if you switch on your camera. But at least I can hear some voices. It will be good for me. So number one, if you can give me a context, who all are there on the call? No need to have an introduction because I can see 38 people on the call. We will not finish the whole call in introduction. But is it students? Is it professors? What's the kind of background of people?
They are basically from teaching background,
Okay.
professors and associate professors, lecturers from different colleges or institutions all over India. And there are few research scholars also from different institutions and organizations who are attending this session.
So thanks for making my life a little more difficult. Because I'm no one in front of all of you guys, because if I add your experiences and your knowledge, I would say decimal percentage in that terms, but I'll still try my best to add on if there is some gaps in your knowledge levels. So please pardon my mistakes if I do something. As I said, if it is more interactive and if you guys are challenging me, if your guys are me, I'll be more than happy to have this conversation. So I hope it is okay before I start.
Yes, sir.
And please don't call me sir, as I said,
Okay.
it's Kamalji. I'm going to close my door. Normally I operate out of house, so such kind of issues would be there. Sorry for that. So thanks a lot for the opportunity, as I said. And today I would love to cover the aspect of sustainability. It's a pretty vast topic, pretty topic in which people have different priorities within sustainability, different goals within sustainability, different conversations between sustainability. I would love to give you a definition from our company's lens, plus my own brief understanding of this topic in a little bit, what I have. Okay. The session timing is 1.5 hours. I don't know, to be very honest, where to take this conversation for 1.5 hours and not to make it monotonous. But I would like to still try to make it best of the time possible to interact with you, to talk about it. First of all, it's not possible without partnership. It's not possible by one company. It's not possible by one person. It's not possible by any one institution. It's not possible by one country. It has to be a joint effort, and that's how the world will become a sustainable world. And sustainable world means the world what we are building for our next future generations. We can't be selfish and we can't be talking about today only. We have to think about tomorrow. So that's the moment. And for us, I think with the kind of situations we are into right now, we can see those impacts on our earth, on our society, on all those areas. And I can tell you the moment is now. If it is not now, it's never. So it's now or never. And we need a partnership for sustainable world. So whether I speak as a sales representative, whether I speak as a Schneider guy, or whether I speak as a father of a son, or whether I speak as a citizen of India, I think we need a partnership at every level to make this world a better place, a sustainable place to grow. I think that's the key message before I start. And challenge me if you don't feel the same way. And if I don't hear the voice, I will assume that I'm right and I move on. So fine, there is no voice. So that means I'm right. Let's talk about the fastest path to net zero. Okay. So as Sir has already introduced me, I'm Kawaljit Singh. People normally in Bengal call me Kanwaljit, but it's okay. I'm used to it for the last 19 years working with a lot of Bengali colleagues. They call me Kanwaljit, but I'm Kawaljit. I'm based out in India, working in different profiles, currently leading global innovation and working on many electrical topics and trying to build the portfolio what can be ready for the future. So many new topics like data centers, EV chargings, many topics I'm working on. So I don't want to go to those topics, but I can tell you one underlying mantra, underlying theory is any new technology, any new disruption, any new requirement, we cannot ignore the fact of sustainability. We cannot ignore the path of net zero. We need to stay in the path of net zero. Now, what is the path of net zero? What is the track in which we have to grow? So everybody is growing. The whole world is growing. India is growth. But the fact is, this cannot go out of the track of sustainability, out of the track or the path of net zero. That's the core mantra for today's presentation. So it's a passport. to operate in the future. It's the only and only passport to operate in the future. We might think of growth, we might talk of growth, we might talk of luxuries, we might talk of all the beautiful things today. They might not be even available tomorrow. So if you have to enter tomorrow, then we need to have this passport called as sustainability. Let's start with what is sustainability. I think I spoke a little bit about it, but sustainable development is a development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. That's the book definition. But I think I summarized it in a way when I started this presentation, that what is it about it. It has many levers. It is having many, I would say, arms. One of the first is resource depletion. Growth means we need a lot of resources. Gold, silver, copper, coal, iron, oil, all these are resources. These are depleting very, very fast. And we know that. And what do we need now? We need alternate sources. That is what about the resource depletion is. And I don't have to explain you the pace at which it is happening. I belong, and Durgapur is also a place where I think a lot of people are there from Durgapur. I'm sure you guys know the impact of the resources, what you guys are generating. Even I come from the similar zone. I'm born and brought up in Chhattisgarh, so I know what I'm talking about. You know what kind of resource depletion things we are talking about, what kind of impact we're talking about because of the resource depletion, what will happen in next few years when the coal and all those things will not there. I think climate emergency, I'm going to go deep today. So I don't have to do it now, but I think it's a point where nobody will disagree that all these newspaper articles or magazine articles are just not articles today. It has already impacted the earth. I just landed from Europe today morning. Let me tell you, there was a snowfall yesterday in Paris, which was never the case in this weather, or the case 15 years back. Last 15 years, there was no snow at this particular point in time. Things are changing very, very rapidly fast. So either it is raining too high, or it's snowing too high, or it's not snowing at all. Either it's famine, it's a hurricane. So extremes. I think it's known to everybody is impacted already. And if we still feel that it's a good topic to talk, it's a good training to have, it's a good KPI to have in our companies, it's a good brownie point to get some investors' money. Sorry, when we are lying to ourselves, we are bluffing to ourselves. I think this is one of the very, very important. Water and food scarcity. I live in Mumbai, I can tell you what's the meaning of water scarcity. Maybe we don't realize sitting in the flat, but there is no single week when there is no water tanker in the society. I don't know if it is mafia or it's a reality, but some experts have told that if there is a world war next happening, it's happening because of the water. And it is very, very top leaders, very, very big economists have told this particular fact. Food scarcity, I know we are growing. We are almost we are the world's one of the fastest growing economy. We are the fourth one right now. But still, we have some pockets where there is an issue of food scarcity. But there are pockets in the world like Africa and all, we are still struggling. So this is also part of sustainability. Air and water pollution. There is no better time than this to talk about it. And somebody from Delhi can tell me if there is in the call, what am I talking about? So I don't have to really go deep into it, but that is also part of sustainability. Diversity loss, that is also part of sustainability. Social inequality. Now let's talk about social inequality for a while. We all feel proud about what happened in Operation Sindoor, but did we even think what happened in terms of the social inequality in that particular case? What's happening in terms of the social inequality since World War II till now? If we start calculating the CO2 impact of all these social inequality points, we have destroyed our planet heavily. I don't know what kind of win we can win. I'm not saying as in, not in a political terms, but if two countries are in debate on certain topics, I don't know what they will win out of that if they don't leave the earth for the future of their future generations. That's the kind of topic I am talking about. So in a nutshell, all these points sum up to a planet crisis. That is what sustainability is. So sustainability is just not about one particular thing. That's why I said in the beginning, it's a huge topic. And we should not mix it with, it's not just about CO2. If someone says sustainability is just CO2 emission or decarbonization, no, it's not the case. But I'm going to talk about only one aspect today, and obviously I cannot cover everything. I would give a little bit of lens towards what Schneider is also looking into it. Sorry for these messages in the middle. I would like to give some flavors of what Schneider is doing in the space, but at the same time, what we feel is in India about this. So there are these, if you see these boxes, and I'm sure since you all are in teaching professions, some experts and research people, I'm sure you have seen these colors somewhere. And these are sustainable development goals by United Nations. And you see there are 17 in total, which sum up to all these points. Okay. Which exactly is like, there is one which is no poverty, two is zero hunger, three means good health. So I can't go in all 17, but these are the 17s. Every company in the world or every forum in the world, when they talk about sustainability, they try to cover some levers out of these 17 sustainable development goals. These are called as SDG, Sustainable Development Goals by United Nations. It's a standard terminology. What you see on the screen right now, the picture is a standard picture available from the United Nations website. And you will see when every company claim that that's my sustainable goal, they adhere or cater to few of these, one of these or five of these or 10 of these or 17 to 17 of these sustainable goals. So the sum of these 17 goals is called as sustainability in a theoretical language, in a UN language, in a book language. Now, which obviously include climate, shareholder. By the way, we have discussed about the urgency, but you know what? As a company, as a corporate person, I can tell you, from climate we have already discussed, and I think there is no debate about it. Since again there is a silence on the call, and I feel that I'm talking to my own screen right now, which is the case. Climate is, I believe, is definitely a simple case. By the way, am I audible? Can someone acknowledge, please?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Thanks a lot. At least somebody speaking. So you guys can speak. Can you unmute, please? Try to unmute and speak if possible. Can 3-4 of you? At least I can. Am I not talking to the AI, please?
No, sir. They actually muted.
So they can't unmute.
Yes, you're audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And am I making sense also, apart from being audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect.
Yes,
perfect.
yes.
So it'll be good to hear some voices because I can just see my screen and my slides. So sorry, it's in a very different kind of experience otherwise. Please keep talking and keep acknowledging if possible. Thanks a lot. So anyways, I was talking about the sense of urgency. One is climate, which we have spoken about. Second, there is tremendous pressure for every company on the ESG goals from the shareholders. Let's forget about what has went wrong in the last 8 or 9 months, especially because of I don't want to talk some politics here right now, but what happened in the federal policies of United States of America has impacted it a little bit. But overall, still, the shareholders do think about ESG goals. They still care about ESG goal, and every company, that's why they have to focus on the ESG goals. And just to share with you, by the way, there are regulations in place. In my previous role, this was launched in Europe in 2021, and this regulation is called as EU taxonomy. You guys can Google it in your form if you or somebody might already know about it. This means that every company has to disclose their green revenue. It's mandatory, and they were so strict about it. They defined the criteria for green revenue, and before that year, you might actually laugh about it, but before that year, every company already used to do that. But when I say green revenue, obviously every company was trying to make it very rosy in their own way. 90%, we are 90% green. There was one company, like for example, Google.com. There used to be a message on the bottom. We were net zero in 2017. I don't know how data centers became net zero in 2017 with all the emissions what they're doing. I really don't understand those things. But still, they claim that. So there is no greenwashing after this EU taxonomy kind of policy. So that's the pressure what we are having from our shareholders as well. Next one is ecosystem. Even our customers are asking for it. Even suppliers are asking for it. So if I have to deal with certain clients, and if I'm not sustainable, we can't really deal with those clients, big clients of the world. and social aspirations. We are living in a social society. In a society, we have to operate in the society. Even our employees, even our bigger networks, they all take care of society. So the fact is, one side we have United Nations laid down these 17 goal for sustainability. Second side, we have real need available in the market. So that's why sustainability is just not for the sake of trainings, just not for the sake of talks. This is real, this is serious, this is impactful. Is it okay so far? Am I with you guys?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So, what we feel as a company, we have been rated as one of the best. I'm sorry for this screen. It's not 2021 only. Even in 2025, we were rated as the same thing. So I have one slide on that. So world's most sustainable company award has been already received by us out of the most global top 100 companies. We really want to grow in the same fashion. Even 2025, we got the same award. Empower all to make our best of their energy and resources is what our motto. And for us, climate, resources, trust, equal, generations, and local. These are the few levers around which we operate on the sustainability topics. Now, let's start with climate. I would like to go deep in the topic of climate. I won't be even covering biodiversity. I won't be covering poverty. I won't be covering water, etc. I will be only talking about climate. I hope it is okay with everyone.
Yes, sir.
So climate change, as I've already said, is one of the most defining issue of our time. If there is any single person on this call, I don't know how many people are there on the call, maybe around 40, 50 people on the call right now. Anyone thinks this is only greenwashing, this is only a political game, please unmute yourself and say so. Because I have not heard a single person so far in my last 5 years of these kind of presentations. I have not heard a single person who have not agreed to me. So I'll pause for 30 seconds to see if there is somebody having a different view. All this has already hit the ground. And you can challenge me. These pictures and these articles are only from global. It's not impacted India. That is on. I'm even happy with that kind of a challenge if you want to do so. Anyone has any observation about, or anyone wants to agree with me about the climate change? What do you think, guys?
Yes, sir. There's
No,
a
I
change
need
in
a conversation, please. Huh?
Yes, sir. There is a change in climate also, as you have just depicted in few times back in previous slides. There is a change in climate. There was a snowfall, which is not a time for the snowfall. Similarly, there in India also, we face that there is just like few days back there was a rainfall.
Yeah, the whole October was raining, correct?
Whole October was raining, but it was not the rainy season.
Yeah, I really feel sorry about the Durga Puja this year, which I enjoy every year a lot. So we know what happened, and it's all because of the climate change. You're right. Now, as I said, I'm sure somebody would have a thought that these are all global slides, global pictures, but I have prepared Indian slides. I'm prepared. I was prepared for this question, but nobody asked. So fine. It's a question for everyone. And I request at least 10 voices because, as I said, I can only see white screen with 1.1 degrees Celsius written on it. Can someone tell me what is 1.1? And I really want answers in this. Unless my colleague already spoke about it yesterday and he stole my slides.
So it is the threshold temperature that we have to maintain between we have to maintain this temperature rise in our climate.
Okay. Any other view?
This is the temperature rise per every year, sir.
Okay. Any other view? Two views so
Average
far. Sorry.
average temperature rise per year.
Per year.
Heard. Please don't do Google. Please don't use AI. All these three answers, if they are correct, we wouldn't have been alive, by the way, so far. But anyways, you will be shocked to know this is the average temperature rise till date in the last 100 years. Not per year. If this was per year, we would have been, I'm telling you, we would have been underwater for sure. So, and it's not about the future, it's about the past so far. So let me show you this. We have officially passed this degree of temperature rise. We have passed it. Not now, it was 2020 when we passed this. Whatever you have seen, the impact is just by 1.1 degrees Celsius. So the whole October was raining. The whole Europe, I was there in Europe in summers, I can tell you, it was 40 degrees, 45 degrees in Europe. They used to curse people who used to buy air conditioners. Now they cannot even sleep with the clothes on. That's the kind of situation they are into within last 5 years, after COVID, post-COVID. That's the kind of temperature rise. Just by 1.1 degrees Celsius, the whole world is impacted that way. We have rains in the odd times. We have hurricanes. I live in Mumbai. People used to say all the cyclones used to hit only the eastern coast. Now, in last 8 years, I don't know if it's because I moved to Mumbai in 8 years back, all the cyclones are hitting the western coast now. So it's really, really crazy, but it's all just by 1.1. Is it scary? Is that the reason why people are not talking?
Obviously, sir, it is the scary thing what is right now happening in our world.
So warmer seasons, I'm talking about India, by the way. Annual precipitation has increased, which is heavily impacting our crops, our irrigation, our resources, our so all our business. So it is directly impacting our economy in a way. Cyclonic disturbances, sea level rise, fresh water supply. Let me tell you guys a little bit more. You see this picture, it's Tamil Nadu, and I'm sure there are many, many such cases now. Same city, summers, there is no water available. Rains, the whole city is underwater. Same city, two extremes. You go to Delhi, same situation. I think we had this Punjab and Rajasthan were hit this year. The whole Himachal, you can see how many incidences happened this year. So this is, India is also heavily, heavily impacted. If anyone says those are global situations, these are global stories, it looks very rosy on the global stories. People only are making money out of those greenwashing things. Sorry to say, it is impacting. And I care about my son. So I really think about this very, very deeply because he has to see and he has to take care of his kids as well. Can you see this picture on the screen right now? How many of you on the call are approximately from the eastern part of the country today? Since this call is from Durgapur, I don't know how many people are there from eastern part of the country.
There are a lot of members, participants from
any idea about this? So this is link. This is a real picture, and the link here is actually, you can click and you can see this. This is a village, a school in a village close to Sundarbans. And I'm sure you know Sundarbans, right?
Yes.
And this picture is 10 years back, or maybe 10 or 15 years back. If I'll show you today's picture, this village doesn't exist. This is already underwater. That's the impact. Media has a lot of topics to talk except this topic because people won't be serious about this. Now it's us as a teachers, professors, we have to spread this message very, very importantly. Now let me tell you what is this meaning. Let me translate it in an engineering terms because we are all engineers, I believe, on the call. Do you understand or anyone heard about 1.5 degree, 2 degrees? Anyone heard about this story from news or from
Yes, sir.
Can you just very briefly, quickly tell what is that? I think this is where you were when
Sir,
I 1.1. This is where you
it
were.
is like, sir, we have to maintain the 1.5 degrees centigrade temperature hike in our atmosphere. Otherwise, all the ice caps or all the iceberg will melt and it will like drown our
Everything
world.
will happen. Everything will happen. Not only ice, everything will happen after that. So whatever is happening, cyclone, blah, 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 all will increase. You are absolutely right. So this is an agreement. So first of all, this is called as SBTI. There is an institute called as Science-Based Technical Institute. This study has been deeply done, and globally, all the countries in the Paris Agreement, if you remember this word because this was a hot topic few months back when the new president of United States withdrawn himself from the Paris Agreement. What was this Paris Agreement? What was this Kyoto Protocol? What was this Copenhagen Summit? What was this COP26, COP27? You all heard about these sessions? Even our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, participates those events. So what happens in those events? So there was an agreement by all the countries that let's stick to a rise of 1.5 degrees or 2 degrees also. Now the discussions have already gone to 2 degrees, by the way, because 1.1, what you see is an average rise so far. Can we stop the increase to 1.5? That is the question. That is what it is about. Or 2 degrees. So what you see on the left, the fact, so this line talks about 2019, but 2024 also things have not much changed. To be very honest, things have worsened now. Especially post-COVID, we have all become detour the whole thing. If there is no climate policy, the orange curve will be followed by Earth. That means by 2100, the temperature of the Earth is 4.1 to 4.8 degree. I don't think so. I need to explain you that if 1.1 has created this impact in last 100 years, what is 4.1 or 4.8 is going to do? I don't think so. I need to explain you guys. You guys know the answer. That is if there is no policy in place. If there are current policies, so every country has a policy. If there are policies, if there are adherences to those policies, if people are following those policies, then the temperature would be 2.1 to 3.9. So the question to you guys, is it acceptable? Forget about COP26, COP27. As a human being, as a citizen, do you think current policies are good enough? 2.1 to 3.9 degrees rise? मैंने ज़्यादा डरा दिया क्या?
No, sir, it is not appropriate enough. Because
not
if right now it is like 1.1 degree increase, and at this moment we are facing like heat waves and any like heat waves and
heat
other
waves, water waves,
cyclones.
everything. Correct. So the
Everything.
fact is, current policies are not good enough. So some people have started having pledges. Kasam khane lag gaye kuch log. Targets, which are like very bold targets, which will be 1.9 to 3 degrees. Do you think that is acceptable? That is also not acceptable. So that is the reason why countries have agreed on a Paris Agreement that let's make country plan, net zero plan, by which we can adhere to 1.5 degrees Celsius or 2 degrees Celsius pathways, 1.5 or 2, something between that. That is the plan. So you can imagine, but what does that mean? Let me translate that on what does it mean. As on today, based on today's pledges and today's all the strong commitments, everybody has a plan to save 4 gigatons of CO2 every year. That's the current pledged saving. Post COP26 by 2030. By the way, we were already at 2.4. We were much ahead of it. We were not even at 1.5. We were at 2.4. But COP27, I understand it weakened to 2.7. That's what I understood. But if we have to go to 1.5 degree, that means we have to save 10 to 15 gigatons of CO2 every year. That is the meaning of this graph, what you see on the left. This is a simpler version or a very simple mathematics behind the graph. So we need to save 3 times more CO2 emissions. We have to reduce 3 times more CO2 emissions or avoid 3.3 times more CO2 emissions by 2030 to stay in this trajectory of 1.5. Now, I think there are approximately 40 people on the call. If anyone can tell me that in last 3 years, that particular individual have been already aware about it and already started saving 3 times more emissions very judicially already. So that means that person is contributing toward 1.5 degrees. I have not met a single individual worldwide who's following track. There might be some individual goals. I might not use plastic. I might not use petrol car. But is it a judicial decision? Sorry? So somebody has a question? Okay. So that's the thought I would like to leave at this slide with, that whatever we have been doing so far needs to be done 3x to stay on the 1.5 degree track. Is it okay for everyone so far? Or am I too slow? Am I too fast? Or am I too wide? Am I too broad beyond the subject? Or am I going correct? Any corrections so far required?
No, sir. It's okay, sir.
Perfect. So we need a mantra. We need a mantra for that. What do we do? And let me tell you, I heard you when you introduced the topic. The topic was around renewable. And that is the problem. We think if we replace coal by solar, we are done. But that's not an answer. We are only thinking from what is visible, in front of our eyes. That is only 45% of the problem solved. 30% is electrification of the existing process. So since Durgapur there is a steel plant, I'm sure you know how much coal is being used inside the plant apart from the electricity for the blast furnace. I'm sure you know how much of fuel is burnt on gas and petrol and diesel and many other forms of the chemical fuel is being used, which can be electrified. Electric vehicles can replace the diesel vehicles. That's electrification. That is 30% of the contributor. And the 25% of the contributor is demand optimization, which is the existing processes. So there are processes where you can optimize and save more. You don't need your air conditioners to work at 20 or 19 degrees Celsius. They can operate at 24 also. And you will save kilowatt hours for your future generation by doing that. So that's demand optimization. So it's a formula. It's a very simple researched formula that the combination of supply, which is renewable, plus electrification, which is then like the process which is ongoing in India, especially we are electrifying at a very, very fast pace. And last is the energy efficiency or demand optimization. Any doubts so far? Any debate? Any disagreement? I'm open to answer it. So we call this equation, we simplify this equation in Schneider, and that's what we take it to our customer. We say digital, everything is digital today, and everything is becoming electric today. If there is a digitization happening, if there is an electrification happening, it needs to bring sustainability. That's what our company's mantra is. But before I go beyond and talk about the vision, mission of our company around sustainability, a question to all of you, and please answer it. Do you know what is scope 1, 2, 3? Do you know what is greenhouse gas emission protocol? Because since this was more a knowledge sharing session, I thought I'll keep these 2 slides for the knowledge sharing, so that the conversation not only becomes easy, but for your knowledge, whenever you talk about CO2 emission, you should know this very, very basic formula. Anyone has view about what is scope 1, 2, 3?
No,
So
sir. Can you
you
explain?
guys are professor. Imagine if you're teaching in a class and no student replies you. Well, how will you feel?
Sir, can you explain?
Okay, I will.
One.
Okay, let me start. So first of all, any CO2 emission, when I say this particular thing has X CO2 emission, as per the GHG protocol, you guys should visit a website called as greenhouse gas emission, ghgprotocol.com. So ghgprotocol.com. This very simply explain what is the meaning of CO2 emission, and this is a universal definition worldwide. Just 1 second. This is a universal definition worldwide. So if you talk to any corporate, any industry, any supplier, anybody in the world about decarbonization around CO2 emission, this is the language. This is the language you need to talk. And that's the reason I've kept this slide, because this is very important if you talk about decarbonization, if you talk about sustainability, if you talk about climate. So let's take an example of, what do I take an example? Okay, let me first explain the definition and then I'll take an example. First emission is scope 1 emission. Scope 1 means the fossil fuel combustion process and gas emission. That means if I'm owning a company, let's take an example of electric car. Okay, so the Tata Steel. Let's take an example of any automobile company who's making electric vehicle. So Tata Motors is an example. So whatever fossil fuel combustion is happening while manufacturing that car is scope 1 emission. Oh, sorry. That is scope 1. Then let's go to scope 2. Scope 2 means whatever electricity and heat was consumed during this process, like when I'm manufacturing these cars. So all the kilowatt hours and all the heat which we have consumed, heat is normally not, it is still there in India in many of the process like furnace and all, but that's scope 2. So that means if I'm a company X, scope 1 plus scope 2 is within my operations. Is it clear to everyone or no? Because I've given an incomplete story. So is it clear? Can I explain it again? What do you think?
That means you want to say that scope 1 is for the amount of energy that is used to make or build a car.
Correct. During the process of manufacturing of the car, whatever the fossil fuel combustion, how much coal or how much gas I have burnt in manufacturing the car is what in the manufacturing of the car is the Tata Motors scope 1 emission. Okay. The scope 2 emission is whatever electricity has been consumed in making this car is whatever the electricity bill of the particular manufacturing plant plus the sales office plus the commercial office, blah blah, is scope 2. Okay, is it okay? Now, but you cannot just go away with that because the value chain is bigger. Tata Motors is also responsible for scope 3 emission. Scope 3 emission is divided into two parts. The blue box on the left side is upstream. The yellow box on the right side is downstream. Upstream means their suppliers. So if they are using a bad steel, when I say bad steel means steel made out of coal, if they are using any bad material, any fuel extraction, all the freight, all the business travel for commuting within the company, all the waste they are producing is all their responsibility. Scope 3 upstream. That's the reason why it is written in sequences. If you look at the value chain, supplier, operations, and then customers, right? Then comes scope 3 downstream, which means our customers. So even Tata Motors is selling a car to somebody, the emission done during the use of that car is also the emission of Tata Motors. Now you understand why do they want to sell EV? So if people use EV, Tata Motors get benefited because their emissions are reduced because they are accounted for the use of their car. That is scope 3 downstream. Not only that, end of life also. So if you dispose the battery just like that, that is Tata Motors' responsibility. So right from the extraction of the aluminum, which is used in the car, till the time of the decomposition of the battery of the electric car, Tata Motors is accountable for the CO2 emission of that car. That is the universal law for CO2 emission. I have seen a lot of debates, a lot of forums where people challenges by saying, hey, renewable is not, the solar is not green because the solar cells use a lot of let me tell you, the calculation is already taken into account all those things. That's because it's not me who's saying that. That's the global definition. If someone claims that I'm net zero, please clarify net zero for scope 1, 2, 3 or everything or just scope 1 and 2. And I will ask you, now it's a time for quiz, by the way. So I want you guys to please unmute yourself in advance. Can you guess what's the average in most of the process industry? What's the average scope 1 and 2 in terms of if I have to divide 100% CO2 emission for, let's Tata Motors as the example. Let's take Tata Motors as an example. What is the split between these three? You guys need to really help me out here. Let me actually open an Excel and do this for you guys. You need to speak, please. Huh? Sir, I can see 45 people on the call. I need at least 72 people. Okay, sorry. 73 people on the call. I need minimum 10 answers here. Please make a guess. 100%. Please split 100%. Sir, I'll not speak till the time I get 10 answers. Sorry. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Is my screen visible, the Excel sheet?
Now it is not visible.
Now, is it not visible now?
Yes, it is visible now.
Okay, so I'm asking a simple question. Scope 3 upstream means suppliers. Scope 1 and 2 means own operations. And scope 3 downstream means customers. Okay. Or the use of the vehicle, use and end of life. So I'm asking a question to everyone. Can you make a guess about any, not Tata is actually not a good example, but any automobile company? Let's take any automobile company. Can you make a guess on the percentage split? What should be the percentage division between these three scopes?
20, 60, 20.
20, 60, 20. Okay. Second guess? I will keep this.
Sir, 30 for 30, 40 and
30. Okay.
no, sir, plus please make the scope
No, it cannot be
3
beyond
is
100.
like 50. No, I will change. 50, 40 and it is like 10. Yes.
Okay. Next.
Sir, suppliers the 15%, then 25%, and I think consumer part, the scope 3 should be 40.
No, then it won't make a formula. You said 15, 25, and 60.
15, 25, and yeah, 60. Yeah, sorry, 16. Means maximum at the supplier end means the vehicle is running down, so more
Supplier use.
emissions that
That's the
time.
use. That's the use. Okay.
Yeah,
Please don't use Google, huh?
No,
Because
no,
it's
no, no, no,
no. I'm not saying this
I'm
to you.
saying.
I'm telling this to others. Please,
Okay,
I'm not
okay,
telling it
okay.
to you. I'm telling to others.
Okay.
Please don't use. Please let's make it a little interactive. Huh? It's difficult for me to otherwise speak for 1.5 hours. Sorry. I can read off my slides, or I can even leave your slides for you guys. Few more guesses, please. At least 2 more guesses, and then I will answer my answer. Just 2 more guesses, please. 72 people, only 3 people answered. There can
40,
be guess. Sorry?
40
Yes.
supplier, 20 probably own operations, and rest 40 for end use or end.
Any last lucky guess by anyone?
40, 40 and 20.
Now let me try to answer mine. Okay. Sorry. That is the reality. You know why it was so important for me to ask you guys and to understand this? If someone tells you, and I'm telling you, it's one of the prominent companies, there are many companies who claims that I am already net zero. What does that mean? I am net zero in my operations. That means out of 100 kilotons, they are 99 right now. US can't say by disposing dumping all the material in India after the use, or by buying everything from China, they can be net zero. Sorry to say this, and it's not a politically wrong statement, but it's a fact. If I buy things from China, use it in US, and then scrap it in India, I cannot be net zero by just saying that. Because I don't follow GHG protocol, that does not mean, as per the definition, sorry, you are not net zero. You are just 1% net zero. That is a reality. So that was my reason of poking you guys to understand the impact of the definition, what I'm trying to say. So forget about it. With what Schneider is doing, you can see what Schneider is doing. 8.02, 0.142, 46.632. That is what Schneider is trying to do. It's same everywhere. It's same everywhere. And we are telling that we will only be net zero on this operations. On here, we will cut by 25% by 2030. That's our goal. That's our mantra. Not only that, there is something beyond the definitions we are trying to do. We are trying to save or avoid CO2, which are not even accounted here, which is another 800 by 2025, which we've already met, by the way, targets. So anyways, and then on the whole value chain, we become net zero. Now, the reason of me asking this question to you, have you heard countries with the goals? Even India has a net zero goal. Can anyone tell me what is the goal for India?
By 2075, we will be net zero.
2070, actually. Now you understand what is the meaning of net zero. Net zero means this one. That means scope 3, scope 1 and 2, scope 3. And by the way, technically it is 90%. It cannot be zero. It's 90% reduction from what we are today. That is technical meaning. Okay. Now you understand, even you are a party to that. Every citizen on earth is party to the net zero goal of their country. That means it is not about renewable. It is not about one action. It is not about a diesel car. The whole value chain has to become green. Then only India can become net zero. You know why I'm stretching this so much? Every forum, I hear this out, especially in India, to be very honest. So don't feel bad about it. It's a fact. People have been telling me that it's not my business. It's none of my business. I'm not contributing towards it. That means people don't understand the meaning of CO2 emissions formula. Scope 1 plus 2 plus 3 is equal to CO2 emission. And you are somewhere in this value chain. So coming to the point, what is India's net zero goal? Can anyone tell me? I know it's 2070 is a net zero goal, but if I tell you it's the 5th goal, there are 4 goals before that. And without asking, if anyone is, if I am wrong, please unmute and challenge me. If any one of you is aware about the first 4 goals, please unmute and say, yes, I know the first 4 goals also about the net zero policy. Unfortunately, the reality is I have been talking to government bodies and they also don't know it. That is a very sorry part of it. China is 2060, United Nations says was 2050. I don't know what will happen now after this policies and all. And India is 2070. There are 5 goals. The first goal is India will increase its non-fossil energy capacity to 500 gigawatt by 2030. These are the 5 pledges. The second pledges are 50% of energy will come from renewable. The third is we will reduce our total projected emissions by 1 billion tons from now to 2030, which was done in 20 somewhere. By the way, we are 4th highest consumption of CO2, so emissions of CO2 in the world per capita. 4th biggest. By 2030, we will reduce our carbon intensity from a previous target of 35% to now it's 45%. And by doing these 4 goals, we will become net zero in 2070. You know, you don't have to really focus on this right now. Even if you study this very, very basic slide, it's available on the Google. I've taken it from the Google. I'm telling you, this is very touching. You will realize, and you as a teachers, I'm with my folded hands. It's a request to you all. Please pass on this message to every citizen possible. And I know you people are making the next citizens of the country. So my humble request, you should pass on this message to every person that they should know this. This guy cannot do it alone. It's very easy for us to put the blame on this person on the screen, but he cannot do it alone. You understood? He's not scope 1, 2, 3. So, anyways, coming to the Schneider Electric story very quickly. Sorry, I have a meeting to take, so I will not be able to spend full 1.5 hours. I will spare some time for you guys. So we are doing two things in our company. We are doing this in our own company. We do our own thing. So for which we have been rated as one of the best sustainable companies since 2021. 2025, 2024, we got this rating by Time. 2025 and 2021, we were rated by Global 100, CDP A list. You can do Google about CDP. I was shocked myself when I Googled CDP and I looked at what it takes to be on the A list. And it's an old slide, but let me tell you, we have been rated 13 years in a row in A rating. So we have all these things by doing what we do inside Schneider Electric. So we practice in all our factories with all our employees. For us, it's a mantra. It's a no-brainer. It's a no negotiation. Sustainability is on our top priority for our company. That's something what we do internally. And then we do externally as well. Externally, our mission is, our purpose is to empower all, when I say all the stakeholders, to make most of their energy and resources by bridging progress and sustainability for all. Progress is important, but sustainable progress. And in Schneider, we call this Life is On. So our mission is that we are your digital partner for sustainability and efficiency. And so we are an energy technology partner by electrifying, automating, digitizing every industry, business, and home. That's what we as a company do. I didn't tell you about our company so far, but you can do Google about it. I have a video to run, but I can maybe leave that video with you guys to run and see. And we are doing many activities in this area. I think my colleague yesterday spoke on SF6 free, if I'm not wrong. Can anyone comment on it?
Yes, sir, you are right.
So, you know what? I don't want to really speak beyond this point on the sustainability topic, because I think this is enough on the brains already, I'm very sure. I'm not sure if that is the reason of the silence. But one of the action, SF6 free, which you guys heard yesterday from my colleague, and I would love to speak a very brief about it, okay, because I will repeat some slides. But the reason of me repeating is to explain you how it is impacting and how it is related to the topic which I just now said, okay? The need of SF6 free in India. You saw this curve, right? You remember this curve. As per the Kyoto Protocol, there are 6 gases which were banned, or they were not banned exactly. They were saying that these are the 6 most potent gases, and SF6 was on the highest, on the top priority. 1 kg of SF6 is 24,300 kgs. You know what? Since you're electrical, most of your electrical, that's what I'm assuming. I didn't ask that in beginning. Sorry to say that, but there is a product used in the electrical technology, very broadly used in India. In fact, I was with Power Secretary last week in Paris, Power Secretary of India in Paris, and we were discussing about this. Because India is in the growing trajectory, because India is electrifying, because we are automating our system in the electrical industry in India, we are heavily procuring new equipments. We are infusing so much of CO2, so much of SF6 in the system, you can't imagine. The numbers are in thousands. 1 RMU is 75 tons of CO2. 75,000 kg of CO2 is 1 RMU. If I talk about any city in India, it already has thousands of RMUs, and 1 RMU is 3 kg. That means 25 into 3, 75 kg, 75,000 kgs of CO2. Now, forget about the left side. SF6 is good in technical terms. It's electrically good. So 1 kg SF6 is 100,000 kilometers. That means 1 RMU is 300,000 kilometers. 3 lakh kilometers. 3 lakh kilometers of CO driving of a diesel car, or 12 times Delhi Paris ride. That is what 1 kg of SF6 is. And we are using thousands and thousands of Indian. This is all scope 3 downstream. India cannot become net zero if we don't eliminate this from our system. That is what my message is. China is having no policy. but they're not using SF6. They have already stopped using it without having a regulation. They are the biggest buyer of SF6 free. Europe, it's banned from 1st of Jan. We have a huge plan to buy, by the way. And I would love that you guys are training the future in your colleges. You guys should teach these important parameters to your students, because they are the one who are going to be writing these policies in future. They were the one who are going to do this. I'm doing this alone. It's not feasible. It's not possible. I would love to have your support on these kind of initiatives. It's a very quick slide. I think it was already shown yesterday, but in a nutshell, this is a little old slide. This was done by me myself. I did this calculation myself based on the EMA data. As on today, we have an installed base of 3 million plus diesel cars on the road just because of SF6, equivalent to that. 3 million diesel cars. That is what impact we are talking about. So I would like to close the session right now. From my side, I'm open for questions. So sustainability is a marathon without a finish line. So my request is, let's start running or walking, at least. It's a marathon. People have not even, I feel strongly, maybe I'm wrong, people have not even started the starting point. Thank you very much.
Participants, if you have any questions regarding this topic, you can surely talk upon it. Sir is with us. So I don't think they are having much
Right.
questions, because you have explained really very nicely, because I myself have found interest in your topic, and I personally request you, if you could share your slide with us, if it is possible.
I will share that. There is
So
nothing
that
to
we
be
can-
written in the slide. It's all very generic slides. I will share that. I will
So that-
remove, if there is some Schneider data, I will remove that and I'll share it with you.
Okay, so that we can, we the teachers can show this slide or talk about this with our students too.
I would be more than happy to do that. That's the core purpose of having this kind of a session.
Okay, sir. Thank you for giving us time from your busy schedule.
The pleasure is all mine, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity to present again. Thank you very much, sir.
And
Have a
for
great
this,
rest of the day. Have a great
sir-
rest of the learning sessions. All the best to all of you. And thank
sir,
you. Thank
from
you very much.
our side, we are having a small token of appreciation for you. I'm just sharing the slide. Please tell me if it is visible or not.
Not so far. Oh, thank you. It's visible for sure.
Okay. We will be sharing this to you via mail, and we hope we will be in touch in near future also.
More
And
than
we
happy.
can learn
More
more
than,
from you.
more than happy to speak not only about sustainability, but even if someone wants to have me for any new technical discussions, new technologies, because I have been doing this in multiple colleges across the world. And I'm sure, my personal feeling, since we have some time left, and if people have interest to listen to me, I really feel that in our colleges, especially in the electrical side, I can speak more on electrical, since I'm an electrical engineer working in an electrical company and automation, so electronics and electrical corely. It's very important that we tell our students about the latest trends in the industry. And without naming few colleges, I tried to approach, since I'm on a global role, and when I took this global role, my first thought was, why can't I have Indian engineers from Indian engineering colleges supporting me to do this? Unfortunately, I can find a lot of Indian engineers in Germany, in Europe, supporting me on many topics, but I don't find that in India, which is very sad. I approached few professors, and they were also not very pushing about these things. And it's very important that they understand what's going on in the world. Let's not just, just stay in the books. It's very important that The technology is changing every night. We are, again, without naming the college, I went to one of the college for training and placement in charge, and I met the professor jinki kitab se main padha hu. And I touched his feet, obviously, because I took knowledge from him. But if students are still reading some 80 years back, or, professors, I'm sure he wrote this book 40 years back, which is important for a foundation. I'm not differing on that, and no doubts on that. But at the same time, we need to put the polish on the top, right? Foundation ke alawa, we need the beautiful architecture also on the top, which is the latest trends in the technology. So I would love to speak in any of the college. You tell me about the latest trends, latest technologies, what's going on in the world, what's happening in the real world in terms of electrical and latest technologies. I'll be more than happy to participate there. You don't need such sessions to really have me. It's not a KPI to be ticked. It's a knowledge share. It has to be a knowledge sharing session, in my view.
Yes. No, sir, we will try so that we will try to make some arrangements for our students also, so that
Anytime. And as I said, anytime, any college, anytime, any places where you want to talk about any latest technologies, what's going on, I can do that.
that will be very fruitful for our students too.
Pleasure is all mine, sir.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night.
You too.
Sir, there is a question in chat box.
Sorry. Yeah, thanks, Lord.
Okay.
Thank God you said that. Just a minute. What is the new technology currently employed in power electronics? Oh, very nice. So it's a solid state technology. Can you speak, please, Raviji? So that I can
Yes, sir.
hear you.
SR University, Cotton Culture main branch, working as a professor here. So, may I know what is the domain right now dominating in power electronics?
I would say the whole world is about power electronics in future, at least from now to the next 5 years. 70 or 80% of my bandwidth within electrical domain is occupied by power electronics. Everything is about power electronics. I can give a very simple example. I know we all know Mr. Thomas Alva Edison, and we all know Tesla. So if I ask you Tesla versus Edison, you need to excuse me for a second. I think there is somebody at the door and I'm not able to open it. Sorry. So if you know this basic thing, everything in the world is moving towards direct current, and I really challenge you all to look around yourself in the room and tell me what's the alternating current left in the room. Its lights are all LEDs, that is DC. Your laptops are DC. Phone is DC. Your TV is DC. Your so IT load is DC. Even in industries I'm talking about, your light is DC. Your fans are DC. So except your HVAC, AC, air conditioner, everything rest is DC. And now your generation is also happening on DC. So you need converters now. So in terms of the latest technology, you can imagine the need of the converters, AC-DC converters, more optimal converters, more compact converters, more efficient converters, both from AC-DC, DC-AC, whole EV charging technology. That's number one. Number two, we need very, very fast response, because the direct current, we would need very fast braking technology. I'm working a lot on solid state transformer, for example. It might eliminate the transformer. So imagine if the transformer is eliminated, what we do with the chapter of the electrical machines, which we are teaching for so many years. So we might not need this once we are into solid state transformers. We might not need normal electromechanical breakers when we will have solid state breakers. So these are the future technologies on power electronics.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah.
Sir, just now you have told that the generation is on DC, right? The new technology is coming out. Sir, is there any practical example where we can get the DC generating system?
No, so all the solar is generating DC, all the battery storage. So today, India has already crossed almost 150 gigawatt of solar plus battery. It's all DC. It's all direct current.
Oh.
So
Okay.
out of 500 gigawatt, 150 is already solar. And if you recall my net zero goals, the goal is 500 gigawatt of renewable. So you can imagine, by the way, Spain and Germany are already more than 90%. Even Switzerland is almost 90% plus renewable. That means they're already around 90% DC, direct current generation. So why do we need alternating current technologies? So it's a question on existence. Huh? Do we need those same books anymore where we talk about corona discharge and all when everything will move to DC? It's a question of, again, Tesla versus Edison, by the way. Think about it.
Yeah.
I will leave you all with that thought. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It's
Thank
a
you.
very nice session, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure is all mine.
Thank you, sir. Really nice session. Participants, we are having some time, so let us wait for our next speaker. We'll be starting our next session from 7:30. So till then, stay connected. So a very good evening once again, and thank you for keeping your patience and waiting up to 7:30. So we are on day 5, second session of this auto FDP. It's my great honor to introduce Professor Zhao Zi Gao, an eminent scholar and global researcher in electrical engineering and artificial intelligence. Professor Gao holds a Doctor of Science in Technology from Helsinki University of Technology, Finland, and Master's and Bachelor degree from Harbin Institute of Technology, China. He is currently a professor at the University of Eastern Finland with previous role of Beijing Normal University, Harbin Institute of Technology, and Lepinrent University of Technology. His pioneering research in AI, soft computing, and signal processing has led to numerous international projects funded by the Academy of Finland, the US Department of Defense, and others. He has served as associate editor for several reputed international journals and is an active member of multiple IEEE technical committees. Professor Gao has delivered keynote talks at major conferences worldwide and received many prestigious awards and fellowship, including recognition from the University of California, Berkeley, and the Chinese Ministry of Education. So this was a bit introduction of our second speaker of this session, day 5, session 2 of this ATOL FDP program. Now I'll be sharing the screen with our participants. Please let me know if it is visible or not. Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay.
Professor of School of Computing, University.
Is it audible?
Hello, everybody.
Is it
My
audible?
name is Xiao,
Yes, sir, it is audible.
Okay.
Professor.
So let us begin with the session.
Hello, everybody. My name is Xiao Zhigao. I'm a
Is it visible?
professor of.
I don't think so. No. Just-
No, sir, it got blank. It's
Okay.
showing.
Okay, let me make it like this. Then I think it will be okay.
Hello, everybody.
Is it okay?
My name is Xiao Zhigao. I'm a professor of School of Computing, University of Eastern Finland. I'm very happy to deliver a talk entitled Nature-Inspired Computing Methods and Applications. It's a great pleasure for me. My presentation today will be rather brief. I will first present the concepts of nature-inspired computing methods, what they are and where they come from. And after that, there will be some examples about the applications of nature-inspired computing methods. Later in the presentation, I will also explain some of our own work in the nature-inspired computing methods. Okay, so the first thing first, what are nature-inspired computing methods? Basically speaking, the nature-inspired computing methods are based on the principles of how the nature works, and we can learn a lot from the nature, and we can develop the algorithms to mimic how the nature works. We learn a lot from the nature. In general, the nature-inspired computing methods consist of a few kinds of techniques. For example, swarm intelligence, neural networks, genetic algorithms, fuzzy systems, artificial immune systems, and
Sir, your mic is off.
the food easier, and they can also avoid their enemies. Besides fish, some other species like bird here, bird, they are flying also in groups, and bees especially, they can build a very complex nest. So here is a picture showing the complex structures of the nest built by the bees. You can see that from the outside it's quite a natural. It looks quite simple, but if you cut it, and you can see that the bees nest actually has different floors. It shows a very complex structure. And also, like this picture, it shows another bee's nest. So the insects like bees, ants, fish, birds, they work together. They actually show some kind of collective behaviors. And that is very important because a small bee or a small fish or an ant they are really simple and they can't do too much. But if they live and work together, if thousands of or tens of thousands or even more bees, ants, they live together and they can work together and they can do something amazing. The way they can work out is that they are able to exchange and share information. They can exchange the knowledge, and in that way, the whole group will be very powerful. These bees can work together to build their nest, and also they can find their food following the shortest path. I will explain this later on. So the nature-inspired computing methods are inspired by the principles of how the nature works, including the swarm. And the next slide shows the flow chart of how a typical nature-inspired computing methods is derived. So firstly, there may be some natural phenomena we can observe. For example, the fish can swim in group. And by observing the natural phenomena, we get, fortunately, some perceptions. And from the perceptions, we will start to model. We can model the behaviors of the bees, for example. From modeling, from mathematical modeling, we can develop the algorithms. And those algorithms, they are called nature-inspired computing algorithms. They are kind of methods we can use to handle our own problems. So if we have some problems in the engineering fields like signal processing, control, optimization, data mining, machine learning, whatever, those nature-inspired computing methods can be applied to handle those problems. So finally, those nature-inspired computing methods are used to solve engineering problems. This is a very representative flow chart from observing the natural phenomena to using the nature-inspired computing method to solve practical problems. So by following this path, we can develop a lot of, or people have already developed a lot of nature-inspired computing techniques. Let me show you one example. For instance, we know that the ants can find they can find the shortest path connecting their nest with the food source. So that the ants are walking like this way. So if there are multiple paths connecting their nest and the food source, they can always pick up the shortest one. How can they do that? People did some experiments a long time ago, and this picture shows that you can see if there are two paths, one is shorter than the other, the ants can automatically, most of those ants, they can automatically choose the shortest path. The way they can do that is, as I mentioned earlier, the ants can have some techniques they use to exchange and share the information. When the ants are taking the food from the food source to the nest, and also when they are moving from the nest to the food source, they will deposit, they will lay down some pheromones on the path, and the pheromones will guide the ants, the other ants, to follow. And by doing this, the ants will find the shortest path. So the pheromone is a kind of medium that the ants use to communicate with each other. So one ant can be very simple, but if there are so many of them and they use the pheromone to exchange the information, then the whole group will be very powerful, and they can, in this case, find the shortest path. And this is really very attractive. The procedure looks like this. So if there are, suppose if there are two passes, A and B, from their nest to the food source, A is shorter than B. At the beginning, the ants, because they don't have any knowledge about which path is shorter and which one is longer, and they will choose by chance randomly one of the two passes to go from their nest to the food source and backwards. The chance of choosing path A and the one for choosing path B will be 50 and 50. So half by half. The end will have 50% of chance taking path A and another 50% of chance taking path B. And when the more and more ants are doing the job, they are moving from the nest to the food source and returning back. When they are repeating this, then we will find out more ants tend to choose path A rather than path B. For example, after some time, let's say 60% of the ants will choose path A, and 40 of them will still choose path B. You can see that choosing path A has a higher probability than choosing path B. And when time goes on, we will see that the chance of selecting path A is becoming so big, 95%, against the chance of choosing path B, only 5%. So what does this mean? This fact tells us that the ants, they can themselves automatically find the shortest path. There is no guideline coming from outside, and there is no pure knowledge they have. At the beginning, as I said earlier, at the beginning, the ants have no idea which path is shorter. But if they work together and if they repeat the process in the food from the food source to their nest and leaving their nest for the source, if many of them they repeat this process, then they use a kind of secret way to communicate with each other. They will share the knowledge and the information they have collected. Then they will finally find the shortest path. And this gives us the inspiration of developing a nature-inspired computing technique called ant colony optimization, ACO. This is one example of nature-inspired computing methods of cadence. And there are also other kinds of nature-inspired computing methods. For example, neural networks. Neural networks is kind of modeling of the human brain system. So on the left part, you can see these are those nature neural systems. On the right part, you can see this is the artificial neural networks. The neurons in the natural nerve systems, they are modeled by the nodes in the artificial neural networks. And when those neurons, they are connected into the natural neural networks, then we can also connect the nodes inside the artificial neural networks so that we get many of them connected. So the same principle applies. The neural networks, they are considered as one kind of modeling of the natural neural networks. And genetic algorithms is also based on how the nature works. in nature, we have probably, I think everybody knows that from Charles Darwin's great book called The Origin of Species. There are two kinds of theories: evolution and natural selection. The species can change; it's called evolution, and the nature selects natural selection. The nature selects only the best fitted species, and those species, if they don't fit the nature, they finally out. And this is the picture showing how our human beings can also have the evolution. Human beings also change in the history from gorilla to modern humans. And for this kind of evolution procedure and natural selection, we developed some algorithms called genetic algorithms. Here is a flow chart for the genetic algorithms. Genetic algorithms can be applied to solve optimization problems. They can be used to design some optimal stuff. I will show you a few examples. So nature-inspired computing methods are developed. Again, as I want to explain, they are developed based on inspiration coming from the nature. And there are so many of them, and they have been used in a lot of application areas. In the past years, our group has been doing some relevant work. Next, there are some examples taken from our past work concerning the nature-inspired computing methods and how they are used in engineering. For example, this one, the nature-inspired computing NIC methods are used to detect faults. And the faults here, they are on the bearings. Bearings are widely used in mechanical mechanical structures. And for example, there can be some damage on the surface of the outer raceway, and also in the inner raceway, and also the balls, the bearings can get damaged. And all this can be regarded as fault. Our aim here is to apply the NIC methods to detect those faults. And this work was represented in one of our papers published in 2014. The neural networks and artificial immune systems are used in our work. Optimization, this is always an interesting topic, how to get something optimized, how to get the best stuffs. And in our work, we applied the neural networks and Swami intelligence to, for instance, to optimize these multi-peak functions. And this is taken from also a paper published 10 years ago. Anomaly detection. Here, the problem is that if there are some abnormal data samples existing, we should detect them. We should be able to detect the anomaly existing in the data samples. And we use the Fisher Iris data as an example here. As we know, in the Fisher Iris data, and we have three kinds of flowers: Sedosa, the color, and Virginica. And we consider one of them is a kind of normal data, and the other two they belong to the anomalies. And in this way, we are using the artificial immune system, especially so-called negative selection algorithm to detect the anomalies. And this work was published in a paper earlier. Data classification. How to classify different data samples into the correct categories. Classification is not very easy. For example, here, if you are supposed to classify these spiral data samples, those circles, they belong to one category, and those crossings, stars, they belong to another category. And we used neural networks for this data classification problem. The time series classification, this is very practical problem. We have the time series collected from real world cases, and the time series may be, for example, the chaotic time series or time series from measurement. And here, if this is a kind of normal time series, this is no abnormal time series, we have to classify them. We have to separate one from the other, and the NIC methods can be used for the time series classification. So far we have been doing work like classification, optimization for diagnosis. The most recent work focused on the prediction, power load prediction. That means we try to forecasting that how much power is used concerning each user. For example, we want to know how much electricity they are going to consume in the coming days or coming weeks. And this is very important for the power generation stations. It is critical to know the future consumptions by the users so that they can easily schedule their production of electricity. And if the demand is high, they probably have to increase the generation. Otherwise, they can reduce the generation of electricity if there is not too high demand for the power. And that is also a difficult problem because there are a lot of random effects, random elements affecting the accuracy of prediction. For example, weather, that is perhaps one of the most important factors affecting the power consumption. In wintertime, naturally the power consumption is quite high, much higher than in the summertime. People use the electricity for heating their houses. And we use the deep learning neural networks and other NIC techniques to predict the power loads for users. And we have the results also published in a paper a few years ago. So far, I have been quickly presenting some NIC methods and also their applications. The current research work from our group actually is about the fusion of NIC methods. That means we try to combine them together. And here you can see that we have several NIC techniques, and we want to merge them together. We can combine two of them or three of them or even more, and then we get the fusion of NIC methods. The fusion of NIC methods is better. At least it's supposed to be better than the individual NIC methods. Individual NIC methods may have their drawbacks, disadvantages, and advantages and disadvantages. And if you combine some of them together, you may get a better performance. One example taken from our work is so-called harmonic search. I'm not going to tell you too many details about harmony search. It is another NIC technique inspired by the way how musicians compose harmonies. And here, this is how a musician creates the harmony in his brain. And this is how the harmony search method can be used to solve the optimization problems. And harmony search has been used to optimize a lot of application case study, and we have done some work on this. Especially, we combined harmony search with other NIC methods. So we have developed some hybrid harmony search methods. So if this is the harmony search method, and there are also some other NIC techniques like this B foraging algorithm, this opposition-based learning OBL, and also population-based incremental learning PBIL. And we combine, we merge those NIC methods together with the harmony search, and we have developed a lot of hybrid harmony search method. For example, if we combine the OBL together with the harmony search, then we get so-called HS OBL, and it has been used to optimize electrical machines, like in this picture. Here, we are supposed to design an optimal electrical machine, and there are some parameters we need to find the optimal values for them. Some parameters look like this. For example, this stator yoke 8, stator outer diameter, stator 8. Here are those symbols and also the range of those parameters. We want to find the optimal, the best values for those parameters, so that we will design a optimal electrical machine. Here, the electrical machine is a wind generator, and the results are pretty interesting. We use the original harmony search without any modification made, and also we used a hybrid harmony search called dual harmony search, and we compare these two techniques in the optimal design of the wind generator. So we want to reduce the cost of making the wind generator. The lower the cost is, the better, and we always target at the lowest cost. But interestingly, the hybrid harmony search dual HS can provide us with the smaller, lower cost than the original HS. For example, here is how the cost can be obtained by using the HS, and this is the cost from the dual HS. You can see that this one is smaller than this one. Not a very big difference, but still this is in terms of euros, because we are talking about the price of making the wind generator. And still a small difference will actually make a big profit, especially when the company is going to manufacture a lot of them. Even you save 1 penny, you can get a lot of profits, because the amount of the machines is quite huge, thousands of them or even more. So I briefly present some of our past work on the development of NIC methods and also their applications. Our current work is from this project called the BioColor project. In this project, people are using the nitro people are studying the natural colors for dyeing, and for dyeing, like for example, clothes, medicine, prints, whatever, and people are interested in the natural colors rather than the artificial colors. This project provides us a very interesting opportunity to apply our NIC methods to solve some data mining and machine learning problems. Next, there will be some slides showing the showing our master's degree students' work. Like for example, here, one master's degree student, Shiteng, he did some work by using a conditional classification technique called K nearest the neighborhood KNN as VM support vector machines and also neural networks. He combined, he compared these three classifiers, and the results are like the neural networks. They can provide us with a slightly better classification result. And Zongyue Li did some work of clustering. So classification is like this, and clustering is like this. Their work is based on the data samples from this project. The project gives us a lot of data samples, and we can, for example, study the classification of those data samples or clustering of those data samples. Zongyue Li did some work in clustering, so how the data samples can be clustered. The group similar data samples are grouped together into a single cluster. And Yaber did some similarly, he did some work on the clustering, but he used a Firefly and the Cocoa search. These two nature-inspired computing methods are used to give us the optimal clustering results. And he compared these two techniques with the classical clustering technique K-means. And naturally, the NIC methods can always optimize the clustering results. Deep learning is a quite a popular topic these days. For this, we also have some students doing the work, like Morning, she did some work using the deep learning neural networks for classification. So here, like this is a picture of flower, and by applying the deep learning neural networks, finally, this picture is classified into one of the two categories here. One issue is that we actually sometimes don't have enough data samples. The number of the images can be rather small, and Merlin also applied, besides the deep learning, she also applied the data augmentation technique to artificially generate more data samples like this one. So when you have the original image, by like flipping and rotating or whatever, they're shifting, you can also get some other images, and those images produced in this way, they are called augmented data samples. And those images together with the original images, we can have a much larger data base. And she used the data augmentation together with the deep learning, and the results are rather promising and encouraging. So this is our current research work in this so-called BioColor project. We are using the state-of-the-art data mining and machine learning techniques, especially deep learning. And now I want to draw some conclusions to conclude my talk. In the talk, I just quickly and briefly went through the fundamentals of nature-inspired computing methods, particularly how they are derived and how they are inspired by the nature. Basically, the nature-inspired computing methods are very remarkable and powerful solutions. They are some quite often they are better solutions than the conventional techniques. For example, in data mining, in machine learning, and the fusion of the nature-inspired computing methods can be a topic for us to explore in the coming years. How to study the combination of different NIC techniques and how they can outperform the other individual NIC techniques. This would be a important but also difficult topic for us. For example, if you want to combine the swarm intelligence with deep learning, that seems to be quite interesting topic. All right, I believe I can stop here, and I give the floor back to the chair. Thank you so much for your attention.
Participants, if you have any doubt, you can message me in the chat box, or you can message me in the group, WhatsApp group. I will email your all queries to our speaker, and I will try to help you out once he will reply your queries.
So now we are at the end of this day 5, session 2. So we would like to thank Professor Gao for thinking about us and sharing his video lecture with us. And as our coordinator, ma'am, Mrs. Priyanka Datto has already told, if you have any doubts, you can share it with her, and she will try to resolve those problems by sharing it with our speaker, Professor Gao. And there is a bit instruction. Tomorrow, as you all know, it is the last day of our Auto FDP. So the session is going to start, the session 11th session is going to start from 2 p.m. and it will continue up to 3:30. Then the 12th session is going to start from 3:30 to 5 p.m. and the 13th session, or the third session of the last day, will begin from 5 p.m. and last till 6:30 in the evening. And from 6:30 to 7:30, there will be a online test and feedback session, which you have to give your online test and feedback through your Auto portal. It is already available. So you will be having 1 hour time for that. And after that,
sir, how many questions will be there in that 1 hour?
you can go through your profile. It will be visible. You can see everything over there. Rather than the questions now. You can see the questions after.
How many questions will be there in 1 hour?
25 questions, not more than that. There will be limited questions.
And we have to secure minimum 70%, no?
Yes. As per the instructions, we have already floated you starting, and it has been already shared in the brochure also. And from 7:30 to 8:30, 8 o'clock, it will be our validatory session, and I expect all of you to be present till 8:30 because you participants have supported us a lot, and we hope your support till the last minute of our auto lab DP. That's it. If I think someone was having some queries. Is there any queries? Somebody was trying to speak something.